So you should recognize that bass line. That's Ramble On by Led Zeppelin, and that's what we're going to learn in this lesson. This song is in the key of E. Basically has two chords in the song, E and A. And they're all sort of variations on that. The intro, the guitar starts off the song and plays for a few bars, and then we have the iconic bass line that comes in. Starts on an E here, up on the neck, to the fifth. So we E to a B, then the chord changes to A, so we're playing an A, and we do a little hammer-on to get the sort of vibe of what he's playing there. So then from here, we do the long riff where he goes way up here to the high third, G sharp, and we're going to go down the major pentatonic scale. Let me play that again. So let's take a look at the pentatonic scale here in E, major pentatonic. So if you can get that pictured in your head, it makes this much easier. And then here's the only variation that's really not part of the pentatonic is you play an A here. And maybe slide out of that. And that's basically the verse part. I guess the one difference here is we're adding a little note on that first riff, so in the verse we actually come down to the C sharp. So there you go, that's the verse section, and once we've done that 4 times, there's like a build-up section before we get to the chorus, and that goes down to the low E. Basically, we're walking up to the A. So starting on the E, we're basically walking up the major scale to A. And then we're using the A chord, A, C sharp, and E, then C sharp back to B. But it's the rhythm that's a little bit tricky here. So it's a little bit of a syncopated 16th note. It's not on the beat. Gives it that John Paul Jones sort of feel, those rhythms do. The second half of this build-up just has a slightly different rhythm in it, but it's basically, it's the same notes. And that last rhythm, that's right with the drums, bap, bap, a doom, as it's going into the chorus. One more time. So now we're into the chorus. And the chorus has got some chop stuff in it. It's a little bit faster. So it's a little bit denser in here. So this is going to take maybe a little bit more work to get together. So in the beginning, we have this one. We have basically all E's. It's just the riff. And he's using 2 different octaves, or 3 different octaves of E. Like that. And then we're using the E major arpeggio. Like that. Then we're going to play the high speed stuff up here on it with an A and a high E. Basically using pentatonic, more major pentatonic stuff here. So let me play it for you a little bit more up to speed so you can see how it goes together. We have some offbeat 16th notes here, so the rhythm is very, very syncopated. So I'll speed it up a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops. Let me slow it down even more. I'm just playing the first 2 bars over and over again because it changes after that. And, you know, it's really hard to get this feeling right without having, you know, a great drummer playing along with you. So I'm just trying to get the part across to you so you can get comfortable playing it and then play it out with your drummer. It's kind of a busy part. So after the first time around the riff in the chorus, the following cycles of that riff are just slight variations on it. In the second cycle, you don't go down to the low E at the beginning. You just stay right here on the, here on the A string. But then the arpeggio is still the same. And then the A riff just has a slight variation on it. Here's the third time. And then the last time, which has yet another slight variation. To a verse. The variations are subtle. I mean, I've charted them out exactly how you hear them on the record. So, you know, if you want to play note for note, that's the way to go. But they're basically variations on the same riff. So, but most of the time you're not going back down to the low E when at the beginning. Instead of like that for the first one, you're going to stay here on the E on the A string. So I'm just going to play through all 4 of them together slowly so you can hear these variations. 1, 2, 3, 4. Third time. Back into, so then you're back into the verse again, and we play through a whole nother verse and a whole nother chorus, and after the second chorus you end up staying on the A for what looks like 4 more bars, and that's really the solo section where he does the little sort of feedback solo in the middle of the song there. And it's basically, again, you're just staying on the A chord, but there's some rhythmical variations going on there. And that's, again, this is the tricky stuff with John Paul Jones, is all of his rhythms and stuff. So, in the A. And then we're back into the verse again. From there, we basically play another verse, another one of the build sections, and then we get into the chorus, and that chorus vamps out. That's where all the crazy panning goes on in the record and stuff like that. So, but the parts really don't change. At the end in the chorus, he is doing a lot of variations on the part, a lot of funky stuff in the chorus as it vamps out. But those are all the basic parts that you have there to play this very memorable, very classic rock song with John Paul Jones, Ramble On by Led Zeppelin.